So today we're going to rebuild the Twins, who did beat the Blue Jays in the postseason, but then lost to the Astros. But at the same time, I feel like this is a pretty successful season. Winning a postseason series was one of them, but at the same time, they won the division, and it looks like they've got a good core to build around. Their starting rotation is strong. I feel like Royce Lewis was a revelation for them. When healthy, he's showing that he is the Royce Lewis that we fully expected. Edward Julien looked solid. Matt Wallner looked solid. And there's a couple other guys that I feel like you could definitely build around him. Have a pretty good young core. At the same time, you do have to have, some conversations about Byron Buxton staying on the field. Carlos Correa did have somewhat of a down year. And then you do have a couple rotation pieces that are impending free agents. So I think if they get their offseason right, I don't see why they can't go back to the playoffs. So that's where I'm going to come in. Let's go win the Twins a World Series. All right, so like I said, with this team, Royce Lewis, unbelievable. He came into the lineup and just grand slams, home runs, good at bats. This guy looks legit. King Julian, solid player for them. Carlos Correa, like I said, had a little bit of a down season, but keep him healthy. He definitely is just a top shortstop in the league. You've got Byron Buxton, who I feel like is kind of like the main issue with the team right now. You've got that long-term contract. He just can't stay healthy. They tried to keep him out of the field to see if that would help with the injuries, but it really didn't, and it's becoming an issue. I thought Michael Taylor, he stepped in and did an okay job, but I feel like center field could be a problem for the Twins. And obviously you've invested money in a player who, when healthy, he can be a good player. It's just he's not really healthy. You had guys like Kirilloff. Matt Wallner I thought was pretty good. Jeffers I thought had a pretty good season behind the plate and with the bat. I feel like there's some good pieces to build around here, but I also think that they do need to change a couple players to improve the squad. Pitching rotation wise, Pablo Lopez, solid season. Sonny Gray, really good season as well. Joe Ryan was like their worst pitcher, and then you had like Bailey Ober. Tyler Mahle was injured. I know Kenta Maeda came back from injury, so it'd be interesting to see what happens with the squad. And obviously Duran as a closer reliever is like one of the best in baseball. And then for the future, you do have Walker Jenkins, who looks like he's going to be an absolute stud. The guy's super young, super talented, but right now with the offseason, we got to get these moves right. We got to see what we can do with this squad, because I feel like it's close to being good. So what I've done here is I've offered 1-year deals, except for Tyler Mahle. I feel like we should bring him back for a couple years, but like Maeda 1 year, Michael Taylor 1 year. And then what's the qualifying offer for Sonny Gray? 20 mil. I'll offer him 1 year, 18. I think he wants 19. So these are just kind of placeholders just in case like I want to back out, but I at least wanted to have the offer out there just in case, we lose him in free agency. But I don't want Joey Gallo back. I don't want Donovan Solano, even though he did have a good season hitting. And then Emilio Pagan, again, had a pretty good season out of the bullpen, but I feel like we can improve there. So we've got these 4 offers out there. Let's go see what we can do in free agency. Before we get any further into today's video, don't forget to check out Underdog Fantasy for your daily fantasy sports. They're currently running 3 featured pick'em entries, 1 for NBA and 2 for the NFL this weekend. There's the 100K Sunday for Christian Watson, and the 1 yard equals 1 win for Bijan Robinson, and then the year 21 loading for LeBron James. If any of these sound good to you, head over to Underdog Fantasy by using the link in the description, or use code ANT when signing up, and they'll match your first deposit up to $500. Again, they have other sports, not just NFL and NBA. They have MLB, WNBA, they have golf, college football. Basically, what you're looking for, they've got it. So again, if any of that sounds good, head over to Underdog Fantasy or the link in the description below. They'll match your first deposit up to $500 and use code ANT when signing up. So as you can see, nobody signed. Kind of makes sense, right? Like we put these offers out as like, just kind of like, hey, you know what? Let's open negotiations. I'm open to negotiations, but you gotta sign the contract, or we'll improve the offer. We'll have to wait and see. I'm up to 80 mil in pending offers, which we're at 154, basically 155 for available budget. So looking at the squad, right, we've got Correa, Lopez, Buxton, Vasquez, Polanco, Paddock, and Dobnik. Dobnik's got a 4-year deal. Polanco's probably a guy that I would float around in some trades for sure. The thing is, like, what am I looking for? An outfielder? Potentially, because like we do have Wallner, we do have Kepler, right? He is soon a free agent, and he's always thrown around in trade offers. I always feel like he's always in the rumors for sure. Walter Jenkins for the future. We have Mercedes for the future, and then we picked up this guy in the draft, Emmanuel Curtis, the outfielder. He's got good fielding. He's got decent hitting stats. 19 years old, 6'4", looks good for the future, right? So I think outfield, I didn't mean to back out there. Outfield, I feel like is an area we could improve right now. So I would really like a starting left fielder. I feel like that's an area that we could really look. And I mean, even potentially right field, because like if we're trying to keep it like Buxton plays our DH spot, even though like he never plays anyways. We've got Wallner in right, Kepler maybe in left, so maybe a center fielder if we don't bring back Michael A. Taylor. So there's that. And then starters, right? We need Sonny Gray back. We need Tyler Mahle back. We need some starters. We need some starters. Bullpen looks okay. Bullpen looks okay. And I just feel like maybe like a little depth piece to help out the squad too. So overall, I think the lineup looks good. I'm not 100% sure about what to do with Kirilloff just yet. Like, I'm going to give him reps, but I do need someone to play first base that hits lefties well. So I got to keep that in mind. I need a first baseman that hits lefties well, and I don't think I have that. I do have Jose Miranda, but again, potential went down. I don't know if he's the guy that we can rely on. He does hit lefties well, though, so maybe we do just give him some at-bats this season, see how he does. Austin Martin kind of seems like he's a lost cause. We do have Brooks Lee for the future as well. Outfield or infield could start to get a little cluttered, however you want to say it. So yeah, I gotta double check what Royce Lewis was primarily playing this year. I think it was third base. Let's take a peek here. Yeah, third base. So then second base would be Julian, and we'll go from there. So we'll figure it out. I like the team. I think pitching is an area that like I want to keep strong within this squad. I feel like that would be the smart move, and then just kind of sprinkle in a couple offensive pieces. But I think pitching's the key. Let's start the season. We're currently ranked 4th. I don't think we're going to stay there. I made quite a few transactions, and currently looking at the team, pitching rotation is basically going to be the same. I am worried about Sonny Gray and Kenta Maeda regressing, so I probably will be in the market for a pitcher at some point. And then you can kind of see this is what the bullpen looks like. Tyler Duffy's back. I know, you know, he was a Twin at one point, but we'll see how he does. I don't really know what to expect. I think Chris Paddock out of the bullpen might be kind of nice. He might also end up being a long reliever. I mean, when you look at the rest of the squad, is it Balazovic, Balazovic? I heard it on a broadcast and it blew my mind the way it was pronounced. So like I think I'm saying it wrong, but you can kind of see what else we've got going on here. From our draft class, there were a couple decent players. Can I show you the players that I had? So Andrew Poles was one, Richard Chu was another. We had Enrique Sixto, who's a closer who looks really good. The walks per 9 are low, but he's 6'4", so he looks kind of insane. And then Emmanuel Curtis was kind of like the other one to kind of keep an eye on. We had Guillen and Kazuhito Fong as well. So like we did okay. And as you can see from free agency, Tyler Duffy was brought back. Victor Caratini is going to be our backup catcher. And you're probably thinking, what about Christian Vasquez? 10 mil for a backup catcher when I think Ryan Jeffers is going to start for us. I feel like it's a little bit too much. I feel like we can trade him, get something else, potentially an outfielder, potentially a pitcher, potentially just something. So I feel like we're going to trade Christian Vasquez for half the price I got Victor Caratini. I think it's Ryan Jeffers' job moving forward. Harrison Bader was my Michael Taylor replacement. I just felt like same price, a little bit younger, B potential, could grow a little bit, play against lefties, good fielding, could be that guy. I know injuries are concerned with him, kind of with Buxton, but let's give him a shot. Rhys Hoskins, first baseman with a little bit of pop, hits lefties well. That's what I was looking for. So he's definitely going to be in the lefty lineup. I'm going to let Kirilloff take over for righties. We're going to see how that goes. If one of them gets cold, then the other just hops in and fills his spot. So Rhys Hoskins, it was 9-ish mil over 2 years with the team option. So we'll see what we can do with Rhys Hoskins. I think 20 plus home runs in the lineup. Can't complain about that. And I think that was really kind of it in terms of players to like keep an eye on right now. I signed a bunch of players just to fill out the roster, as you can see. I might even have to sign a couple more just for like the pitchers. But looking at the lineup right now, I want to get rid of Polanco. I might even throw Hoskins in to start, but like Bader's going to come in versus lefties. So this right here is, what position is this? Is this center field? So we could go out and get a better center fielder. And I feel like we've got some pieces to move Vasquez and Polanco. that we could go out and get a center fielder. And a player that I feel like we could go out and get is an outfielder for the Red Sox, and that's Jarren Duran. Jarren Duran had a really good season, hit 350 or 301 with a 357 on base percentage, 17 home runs, some decent fielding, some good speed, some good contact, a lefty bat, which I was kind of trying to avoid. But we're going to throw in Polanco because I said I wanted to get rid of him. We're going to reunite Vasquez with the Red Sox. And then we're gonna throw in, someone to get the job done. I don't know who that's gonna be just yet, but there's gonna be somebody, and we're gonna figure it out together right now. Deshaun Kiersey Jr. There you go. That's gonna be the trade. I feel like, you know what? Jarren Duran, 27 years old. How many more years of arbitration? Oh, team control for the rest of his life. We're pretty good. I feel like that's a good pickup. All right, so at the start of the year, we're ranked 9th. And so this is what our team is going to look like. We've got Duran at the top of the lineup, Royce Lewis, Correa, Wallner, Buxton, Kepler, Kirilloff, Jeffers, and then King Julian. Kyle Farmer on the bench. We got Rhys Hoskins as well, Caratini, Castro, and then Bader. Obviously versus lefties, I do need to kind of tweak this a little bit. Rhys Hoskins is going to come in and play first base wherever that may be. Probably bump him up a little bit with that power. Kepler, I don't know. We got to get Farmer in somewhere. Maybe second base. Duran is not going to play. We're going to have Bader in center. So maybe Kepler actually does come out for Duran and we go like that. That might be what we rock with. Like, Kepler's not bad. It's just like the other guys have better hitting stats versus lefties. So I'm gonna change this up a little bit because I don't really like the way this is set up. But I don't hate the lineup. I actually think we've made this team pretty good. I feel like we're at a good spot. We do have some aging players, which does worry me. It does worry me for sure, especially in the pitching rotation and the bullpen. So I probably will have to make a trade or two, but to start the season, not bad. Okay, so we're at the deadline and I didn't realize I wasn't recording. So I made a couple trades that we're going to talk about, but let me break down why I made these trades in the first place. Maeda is starting to regress, and I felt like with the 4.2 ERA, 1.2 whip, he's not having a bad season, but I feel like we could add a pitcher to the rotation / sixth man. And when you look at kind of the other options that we have, we don't really have somebody that could step in right away. I know Jordan here was a reliever mostly in real life, and I feel like with the numbers that he's putting up currently, probably can't trust him. But the only other pitcher that I did replace was Giovanni Moran, who had a 6 ERA. So I felt like pitching was an area that I really wanted to target because we needed some help there. So who did I go and get? I got Patrick Sandoval from the Angels. The season's not that great, but B potential. He's 27, team control for the next couple seasons. I feel like he can slide into the rotation if we really need him to, or long relief. And for the trade that I did make, the trade was, we're going to go to the Twins. It was Patrick Sandoval for Josh Winder and Max Kepler. Two players that I just didn't see in the team moving forward. Max Kepler was also a free agent this year. So I felt like if I can get Sandoval, who gives us 2 more years of team control, I think that's a big pickup. And then Enyel De Los Santos was a reliever who I went for 2 guys, 2 outfield prospects that I wasn't going to use. With Moran struggling, I felt like we really needed to bolster up the bullpen a little bit. The rotation still looks really good. I think the bullpen looks really, really solid too. The only other issue that I currently have is that the offense is lacking at the top of the rotation, or at the top of the lineup. Like, there's a couple decent bats, but I do have to start taking certain players out, like Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins isn't in the lefty lineup anymore because he's not doing anything, right? Kyle Farmer's doing pretty well. I'm going to see if Jose Miranda can do something. He is in the lefty lineup at first base. And then I'm keeping an eye on a couple others to see how they progress throughout the season. But right now, offense is lacking a little bit, and it's kind of letting me down. But for the most part, we're still in first place. I'm not freaking out. I've bolstered up the pitching a little bit, which is kind of like the main foundation of this team. So let's see what happens. I feel like we might have to make some changes if the offense doesn't pick up come the offseason. So let's finish off the season. So we were 94-68, won the division, and we're taking on the Astros. So not a very favorable matchup. I think we won the division by 1 game against the Guardians, who are right behind us. I think we've got a pretty competitive division with these two. Outside of that, doesn't look that great. We do have a league leader, and it's Joe Ryan with wins, which is awesome to see. Home runs went to Jordan, and Matt Olson was 60. Wow, okay. Awards, let's quickly take a peek. Jordan was the MVP, had a pretty good season, I would say. And then Matt Olson, I would assume, won it, and he did. Ohtani was the Cy Young winner. Blake Snell was in the mix. I considered signing him. 15 mil over 5 years is not bad. But the issue was he had a 6 ERA, and I didn't know if I could trust him. It was one of those things where, like, am I going to get a 6 ERA Blake Snell, or am I going to get a 3.5 ERA Blake Snell? So I felt like I should probably avoid him. There's going to be some big names coming up in free agency, so we'll see what happens. Jacob DeGrom won Cy Young in the AL with Joe Ryan and Pablo Lopez right behind him. Batting title went to Bichette and Olson, and then we have Bednar along with Devin Williams, who was replaced by Josh Hader. Josh Hader re-signed with the Brewers in the save, so they traded Devin Williams to the Blue Jays, which would be a huge pickup for the Blue Jays. Rookie of the year went to Nolan Shanuel of the Angels and Zach Veen. Okay, pitching wise, let's see what we've got here. They called up Moran. Not even gonna let that happen. Oh, they sent down 2 offensive players. Hold on, wait a second. So let's see here. Jose Miranda wasn't that bad, so we'll add him back to the team. And then they sent down Willie Castro. Okay, so I need to send down Moran because he was pretty bad. And then I think, man, Sandoval had a 5 ERA. We're gonna send him down. We're gonna rock with Maeda for the postseason. I feel like that's pretty good. Oh, why am I missing somebody? Who am I missing? Tyler Duffy. Was he bad? No, he was good. Get him back into the team. So then I don't need, all right, sorry, Miranda. Your time in the postseason roster was short-lived. Kenta Maeda had a 4.2 ERA. It was good, but when you compare him to what Sandoval did, I need Sandoval to be better. I need him to be way better. I'm going to bring him back, but I need him to be better. Definitely better. And to be honest, we might lose Sonny Gray, so we're still going to be in the market for a pitcher. Griffin Jackson had just shy of a 4 ERA, but a low whip, 80 innings pitched. Not a bad season. Not a bad season at all. Oh, Alcala. Yikes. That happened. Dos Santos was good. De Los Santos was good. Tyler Duffy was pretty solid as well, over 20 innings. Chris Paddock was really good, so he might just be our setup guy moving forward. And then Duran was doing Duran things. Pablo Lopez was fantastic with a 3 ERA, very low whip. Sonny Gray, also pretty solid. You know, I knew he was going to regress a little bit, but still was very good. Joe Ryan was also incredibly good this season with a sub 3 ERA. Bailey Ober with just over a 3 ERA and a 1.12 whip. And then Tyler Mahle, also fantastic. I honestly might go like this and have a 4-man rotation this postseason. I feel like that 4 right there can lead us to victory. Lineup wise. There we go. That's what I meant to say. We need, I guess, Willie Castro in left field. I guess that's what we're gonna do here. We do have Nick Gordon, Walker Jenkins. Those hitting numbers need to go up a little bit. Same thing with Brooks Lee. I need that to go up. And then Curtis is close, but he's kind of in the same boat as Jenkins. So we'll see. We might get them involved. Honestly, we could. I might get them involved. Can Jenkins play outfield? And I mean, like, left field is kind of open right now, so we might be in the market for, you know, one of the youngsters popping into the team. You know, I feel like that could be a possibility. Kyle Farmer had a pretty good season off the bench. Can't complain about that. Trevor Larnach, small amount of appearances, so I can't judge him. Yeah, this is bad. I'm glad we did a team option because he's not coming back next season, and I feel like that's a smart move. Victor Caratini as our backup catcher wasn't too bad at all. I'll take that. And then Harrison Bader. Honestly, for half the at-bats, pretty close in terms of doubles, similar triples, similar home runs, run production. I'm not going to complain about that. That's a pretty good season off the bench versus lefties only. Jarren Duran was, I need a little bit better on base percentage, and I'll be happy. Willie Castro, fantastic season. I know I'm talking about potentially replacing him in the outfield, but I just don't think he's going to improve too much more. And I think as a bench bat, I think he's going to really flourish. Correa, I need better. If I'm paying you big money, I need better results. Matt Wallner wasn't bad at all, but again, I would like a little bit better. Buxton, again, I would just like a little bit better. Kirilloff was very good, though. I'm not going to knock Kirilloff at all. He was fantastic. just the guy we needed at first. Royce Lewis definitely let me down. I mean, when you look at the numbers, they're very similar. It's just that it's not good enough. Jeffers is very good. I like to see that. He is regressing fielding wise, which is super disappointing, but he had a very good season. And then Julian, okay, all right, just got to pick up those hits and then you'll be fine. I know it sounds like, oh yeah, just hit the ball more, but yeah, just hit the ball more. Versus lefties, I think we go like that. And then I guess, you know what? Kirilloff's earned it. And then I guess Larnach leads off, which sounds terrible. I'm going to go with Farmer instead. I think that's what we're going to rock with for the postseason. As a team, really quickly, where are we offensively? We are... Where are we? 20th for batting average. What about runs, though? Top 10. Okay, so in terms of run production, we were a top 10 offense. And pitching-wise, a top 5 pitching staff in earned run average. So, again, the foundation of the team is going to be pitching. I need it to be very good. Let's see what we can do in the postseason against a very tough team in the Astros. And we take them down 2-0 right off the rip. I'm going to let Ober go, but then I'm going to go Lopez Ryan, and we should be good to go. So Bailey Ober versus DeGrom. We win 2-0. We win 5-3. We just swept the Rangers. We're now taking on the Guardians, which I feel like, again, Mailey probably getting skipped. Actually, can I skip Mailey? Hold on. How many days? Oh, yeah, we can go right back to the top of the rotation. So it's going to be Lopez, Ryan. Oh, wait. Ryan, Ober, Mailey? Is that right? Yes. Okay. The Guardians. We need a good outing. I mean, we're looking good. Okay. Facing the Padres in the World Series, we're back to the top of the rotation here, and we're looking fantastic. Holy cow. What a postseason for us so far. Can we do it? Can we win a World Series in our first season? And we lose our first game of the postseason right there. That is crazy. It took all the way to the World Series to lose our first game of the postseason. We win the second. 2-2. 3-2, 1 game away from a World Series. Oh, okay. World Series MVP is Ryan Jeffers. Playoff MVP was Byron Buxton. Okay, Jeffers hitting 500 in the World Series. Look at Buxton. Look at Jeffers. The catcher, man. The catcher. And then you've got Royce Lewis also popping off in the postseason when we needed him most. Had a bad regular season, but that postseason was killer. Mailey was good. Pablo Lopez was almost untouchable. Joe Ryan, Bailey Ober, also very good. You look at our bullpen here. What do we got going on? I mean, they're only going to be pitching like 1 or 2 innings. So if they get roughed up once, they're going to have a high ERA and everything. But the bullpen, I mean, you're looking at crazy numbers. And then if you look at our games, 10-2, 11-8 was probably like the worst outing that we had. 2-0, 5-3, 10-0. The offense popped off. 1-0, good pitching. 4-3, 10-3, 8-3, 6-1. We lose 3-1, so like it was still a close game. 11-4, 2-3 close game. 9-2, 7-0. So for a team that like was a top 10 offense, but I felt like really kind of lacked in the postseason, they brought it. They scored a lot of runs. Jarren Duran was a little quiet. Same thing with Willie Castro. Correa was good. Wallner, quiet, but Buxton was good. Kirilloff was good. Lewis was good. Jeffers was good. Julian was good. I'm happy with that squad. Let's do one more season. We've already won a World Series. Maybe we start sprinkling some of those young guys into the roster as well, or the lineup, and see what we can do. Sorry, Hoskins, you're gone. I think Sonny Gray we should let walk. Harrison Bader, I guess we have Buxton, we have Duran, and then we have those 2 youngsters in the outfield. Walker Jenkins, I'm going to put priority over the guy that we drafted, just because I feel like Walker Jenkins is a real Twins player. I might bring back Bader. What does he want for a season? About the same. I'll consider it. Kyle Farmer, I think, was too good that, you know what, we got to bring him back off the bench. He was really solid for us. Same thing with Caratini. 1 more season off the bench for $5 million. I think he's pretty good there. Kenta Maeda, thank you for your service, but we're going to move on. Same thing with Tyler Duffy. I feel like, you know what? We put together a squad. I do need to add a third base coach, but Let's see how much money we're gonna have to play with. We should have a lot. We should have a lot. And I feel like if you look at what we've got going on here, right? We do have Sandoval, but realistically, I think he sits in this spot. I don't think he's part of the rotation. I think we go out, we spend a little bit of money. I'm not saying we need to blow the bank, but we need to spend a little bit of money just to kind of solidify this crazy rotation that we have. Bring in another good reliever, and then offensively, left field's going to get taken by Walker Jenkins. And let's see who else could potentially be replaced. I do like Matt Wallner. I do. But I mean, we could turn to that young guy that we have. But that could be an area that we look to improve as well in free agency with not Soler, not Santander, not Duvall. Soto, I feel like I get too much. So I guess we could turn to the young guys. Is there like an infielder that Altuve's kind of crazy? And I know Julian really isn't an outfielder, but like, is there somebody that can play the outfield? Oh man, Altuve would be crazy on this team, but I feel like no. I feel like we turn to the young guys and we invest our money just to pitching. I think that's what we do. Season 2, we're ranked 7th, 3rd in contact, 3rd in pitching. Like I said, that pitching is going to be the foundation. Defense is a little shaky and speed is a little shaky, but I feel like we've got a pretty good team. So my big pickup this offseason was Mike Soroka. I feel like with the Braves, they might end up letting him go. You know, he's one of those guys that's battled injuries. I know he's still fairly young in real life, but if he just doesn't perform, maybe he's a piece that the Braves would let go. In this sim, they did let go of him. They let him go to free agency. I picked him up for 16 mil, and the reason that cost so much was he actually had a pretty good season last year. So I feel like this would kind of be somewhat of like maybe like a twin signing. You can get him for like 16 mil really isn't that much in the grand scheme of things for pitchers. And if you're coming off like a young pitcher who has shown that he can pitch well, I think the Twins would go after him, especially if they could get a price like that. I did also sign Herman Marquez for 5 mil, just in case we need a little bit of some help later on in the season. We've got Sandoval as well, but as you can see, this is currently what the team is currently looking like. And then in the bullpen, I didn't like the signing, but I couldn't sign anybody else. 34-year-old Paul Sewald has joined the squad. Alcala, Paddock, and Duran, but otherwise, not too much to change with the pitching. Offensively, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting because I didn't really want to go out and sign Soto, who went to the Mets. And Pete Alonso, I have faith in Kirilloff being our first baseman. So Walker Jenkins is going to play left field for us versus righties. And then our guy, Emmanuel Curtis, who we drafted, is going to come in versus lefties. Same thing with Farmer and Miranda. These guys are going to get some time versus lefties. And I feel like we've got a really good squad. And yes, we may have regressed a couple positions, like the left field spot. I feel like we did take a little bit of a step back, but I think we made the pitching better. So I think there's that to look forward to. I really need Wallner to pop off this season and basically everybody in the lineup, but I feel good about this team. All right, so 93-69 won the division once again. This time we're taking on the winner of the wild card playoff game. And yeah, we kind of went on a little bit of a win streak at the end of the season. Crazy game, 13-12 here, and then 12-0 against the White Sox. But it didn't really matter. We had a pretty big lead in the division, 8 and 9 games above the Tigers and Guardians, respectively. And we are currently ranked the 7th best team in baseball. 3.70 ERA as a team, 2.71 average as a team. I'm assuming that's actually pretty high, right? Top 4 for batting average in terms of runs. Top 5 once again. The Dodgers look pretty good. So I'm hoping someone knocks them out before they get to us. Home runs wise, were we number 7? That's pretty good. And then ERA wise, how are we as a team? Number 2, which is awesome. Like I said, I wanted that pitching to be the main foundation of this team, and we really made it like one of the best in baseball. Tyler Mahle had the most wins. Who had the most home runs? Seager and Matt Olson. So no awards, which is super disappointing. Seager did win MVP. Brent Rooker was in the mix for MVP. Matt Olson wins it on the other side. Cy Young went to Alcantara and also McClanahan. Sadly, we didn't have a pitcher in the race this year. And looking at the rest of the awards, it's just super disappointing that we didn't get any, relievers of the year or rookies of the year or MVPs, Cy Young, anything. That's super disappointing. So yeah, we had two rookies, and we really didn't get a Rookie of the Year nomination. 286. Oh, that's a generational talent, huh? So we've got. I mean, he did have a pretty good season, huh? 530 at bats, 440 at bats, 450 at bats. All of them had pretty good seasons. So let's see what we've got going on here. So one of these guys is getting sent down, but who? Man, all these guys are pretty good. Moran didn't really pitch this year though, so I think I'm gonna send him down. Wallner's there. All we're good there. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, get him back into the team. Get him back into the team. Who else are we missing here? Kyle Farmer. They took out Kyle Farmer. And who did they add instead? Because if we take out Moran, we still have an extra. Do we have an extra starter? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do we have an extra starter? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chris Paddock. Yeah. And then offensively, who did they... Larnick got called up. What did Larnick do in his small amount? No, he didn't get any at-bats. I feel bad for not getting Larnick involved in this rebuild, but I felt like we did pretty well otherwise. So, Sandoval, 145 innings pitched, was way better this season, which is awesome. I really like that he came back, bounced back, gave us a good season. Griffin Jackson, once again, good. Just super reliable in the bullpen. Paul Sewald, I was a little worried about him. He actually held his rating fairly well, and ERA is a little high, though. It is a little high. Daniel De Los Santos, talk about a pickup. Talk about a pickup. Chris Paddock. Okay, Chris Paddock at the deadline had an 8 ERA. So for him to drop it down to a 4.1, I'm super ecstatic about that. Alcala was very good in the setup role. And then Duran was also very, very good. Looking at our starters, we did have a couple guys, let us down a little bit, like Pablo Lopez. Tyler Mahle was really good, or Malley. I think it's Mahle. It could be Malley. Either way, really, really good season. Joe Ryan, not as good as last year. Bailey Ober was not as good as last year, but Mike Soroka was. So I think we're going to have to maybe go like this, and then Ober comes over here. Honestly, we could probably, maybe we throw... I still think we go like this for the postseason with Sandoval here. I considered putting him into the rotation, but I think we'll be okay. Jose Miranda, face lefties all season, absolutely mashed, love to see it. Emmanuel Curtis, another one of those that hit lefties all season, absolutely mashed, up to a 75 overall, had a really good season in terms of growth. You've got Kyle Farmer, once again, just a good bench bat. Same thing with Willie Castro and Victor Caratini. You know what, as a whole, probably one of the better benches that we've had in a rebuild. Looking at our leadoff guy, Duran, better. Average went down, but on base percentage went up, slugging went up, OPS went up. I'm happy about that. Royce Lewis, bounce back season. This is what I was looking for. 30 home runs, almost 40 doubles, 100 RBIs, 300 average, 894 OPS. Huge for Royce Lewis, up to a 90 overall now. Crazy season. Carlos Correa, same thing. Look at, once one person gets going, then the next person gets going, and it's just a chain effect. The dominoes are falling. Things are looking good. Even Matt Wallner, almost a 350 on base percentage, almost 800 OPS. Pretty happy with that. Buxton, even Buxton is getting close to an 800 OPS with the 350 on base percentage. Kirilloff did what Kirilloff did last year and was also just very good. Jeffers, the power numbers dipped a little bit, but still as a catcher, you'll definitely take that for sure. And then Julian, slight regression, nothing too crazy. And then Walker, I think have I been calling him Walter? I think I've been calling him Walter Jenkins this whole time when it's Walker Jenkins. Now I'm second guessing myself. Have I been really calling him Walter Jenkins this whole time? I think I've been saying Walker Jenkins. Just 20 years old, an okay season, right? When you look at his hitting stats, you understand why he didn't really put up the best number, but not bad. And then obviously we have Emmanuel Curtis, so we've got some competition, and both of them are what, 6'3", 6'4". We got some big outfielders, right? What's Buxton? 6'2". Duran 6'2". Wallner 6'4". Kirilloff 6'2". You know, we got 6'4" for Correa. Yeah, let's just make like a 7-foot team. Just make a really big squad. All right, so we are facing the Rays. I really don't like facing the Rays. I'm gonna be honest. I don't. Looking at their squad though, I don't know, man. I feel like we should beat them, but every time I say that, we lose. So we should beat them. All right, so the 4-man rotation is ready to go. Let's Ooh, what do we got going on here? Let's see here. What lineup is not set? Oh, versus lefties. Well, it should be Farmer at second, and then yeah, Curtis down here. That's how it should be. So don't mess with it. Good start. Better start. Ooh, the loss. Don't like that. But we win anyways. We're gonna go back to the top of the rotation for the Mariners, which they have. What changes have they made? They've called up Ryan Bliss, they've called up Lazaro Montes, and then they've signed Vidal Brujan. Gary Sanchez on the bench, and not much has changed with this team though. So like, I'm feeling good. We've got the guys ready to go. Lineup wise, yeah, we're set. So here we go, Pablo Lopez. No, that's better. Yep, keep the wins going. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So Soroka is pitching here, but I feel like Pablo Lopez should get game one against the Reds. That just hit me. Benson McClain. That's the Reds. That's the Reds. That's literally the Reds. Pitching wise, Clevenger's new. This is a guy that they drafted the first season. It was a closer. I saw the guy. Yeah, he was pretty good. Otherwise, yeah, they made a couple changes to their bullpen, but this is the Reds. The Reds are just a good team. So pitching wise, we're gonna go like this, like this. Actually, everyone's pitching really well, so I think that's that. All right, here we go versus the Reds. The Reds have had a good postseason. They've beaten the Braves, they swept the Cardinals, no problem. So what are we gonna do against the Reds? We're gonna win the first three. Oh, you're spoiling me. You're spoiling me, Twins. I actually like the rebrand that the Twins did. I like the new unis. I like these ones a lot. The cream with the dark blue. I think they're really simple. They're executed well. I really like them. But we're gonna rock with the, I guess, the roads. I don't hate the roads. And then Joe Ryan is struggling a little bit, so maybe like a little piggyback game. Or what do we have going on lineup wise? A lot of righties. Yeah, so maybe we go like Lopez to start, Ryan if things get a little shaky. I think that's what we do. And then let's go facing Andrew Abbott, a single to start it off. Fielder's choice. Carlos Correa, 2-run home run. Talk about starting the game off right. Curtis, fielder's choice. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. I'm feeling good though. A single for Willie Castro, and then the rest of them get out. Okay, that's fine. Pablo Lopez, do your thing. First and second for Royce Lewis. Brings in the run. Jose Miranda, double play. Hate to see it. And then the guy grounds out. All right, that's tough. But a single, and then nothing else. All right, it's 3-0. Okay, 3-1. It's 3-1. Still feeling pretty good. That probably is Abbott's last inning, and I'm kind of hoping we can get maybe one more. We can get 6 out of Lopez. They're gonna go to TJ Anton, and nothing happens for us. An error to start the inning, huh? And then another error. We're really not helping us out here. Let's go lefty. And the strikeout, 1 run scores, but the runner was thrown out. Okay. So we get out of it, but it's a closer game. We gotta do some damage here. Brock Burke is a lefty. Kyle Farmer hits them better. Doesn't matter in the end. And so the lefty matchup, and then now we're gonna go to Seawald. Gets us out of the inning. Perfect. They're gonna go to their newer reliever. Correa gets on. Buxton gets on. Royce Lewis strikes out. Then a run scores thanks to Jose Miranda. We get one of those runs back. 4-2. And you know what? Curtis is having a tough game. Let's bring in Jenkins and see how he does. He pops up. All right, cool. But Ryan Jeffers, the catcher, delivers with the 2 RBI double. And then Castro gets out. So let's see what Seawald can do. And okay, just a quick 1-2-3 inning, no problem. A walk for Duran, fielder's choice, and then a strikeout. So we've got the 4-run lead. I'm going to be a little greedy here with Seawald, see if he can close it out for us. He does, and the Twins win the World Series. Talk about a day. 3 runs for Correa, 2 RBIs, a home run, a double. Pablo Lopez pitched well. I mean, that's all I want to see. 2 World Series with the Twins. Kirilloff, the MVP for hitting 500 with 1 RBI. But he did have 12 throughout the postseason. Okay, I like that. Let's see what we had going on. So 5-0, 10-3. We weren't as dominant as last year, but we were pretty dominant once again. So let's quickly take a look how the pitching did. Again, not, oh wow, these two These two were crazy good. And the bullpen? Yeah, the bullpen held it down offensively. 300, 364, 382, 300, 486 for Kirilloff. Almost 300 for Jeffers, 260 for Julian. Okay. Farmer hit 429. Yeah, that is a good team. And I feel like we really did well with the Twins. 2 World Series. But that's the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and enjoyed the content. And if you enjoy rebuild content and you want to see me rebuild the Marlins, check out the video on screen.